everybody, welcome back to another episode of Doing the Devil's Tango. It's my little dating story, dating advice podcast. I'm here once again with my wonderful girlfriend, Kelsey. Say hello.
Hello.
In this podcast, what we do is we take some of your stories, your questions, your concerns, whatever, your derogatory statements sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And then we kind of read them, give our advice, give our thoughts about them, like what should you do, what should you not do. Chances are you should probably dump them, but whatever, doesn't matter. So we got a bunch of these here now, and we're going to read them because that's what a podcast is about, like I just said. You ready, Kelsey?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the first one here is titled Overthinking, and it's from Anonymous 18-year-old girl who's just trying to get into college, okay? That's who it's from. It says here, I, 18F, don't know if I'm overthinking about my boyfriend's 18M feelings. We're seniors in high school. We started dating in February earlier this year. When I first asked him out, he told me he'd give me an answer a week later. Okay, first of all, what? I'll give you an answer a week later. Hold on, let me pencil you in. Which was odd to me, but he said yes, and I was super happy about it. We had our first date. He mentioned that dating me was good for experience.
Yikes.
Well, it's just like a slap in the face, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a good practice girl. Yeah. Like, you're not the girl I actually want, but I mean, at least I could learn how to make out, I guess. I didn't really think much about that comment for a while, though.
Maybe you should have.
You probably should have. Yeah, that would have saved you a lot of grief later on. I felt like he's always been intimidated by me. Ever since we started dating, he's been extremely cautious around me. Early on, our texts mainly consist of me texting him some meme or asking him some question, and then him responding the next day. Okay. All right. Could you imagine if we texted like that? Like,
No.
You asked me a question, and I respond like 2 days later? After a while, my text died off. He started texting me a bit, and now we're texting each other like once a week. Wow, what a riveting relationship. That's what she says, by the way. I agree. Very riveting, yes. Once a week you text each other. All of my friends basically assumed that we broke up. One of them texted him in August saying that our relationship was dead. Fast forward to my 18th birthday in October, my boyfriend delivered a gift with a long letter for my birthday, even though we had barely spoken in months. In it, he said, even if the time comes now or later that our paths may stray apart, I really hope we can still have a friendly relationship. So you just like break up with you on your birthday? Is that what that is? That sounds like a breakup.
Yeah.
You like when you break up with someone and you're like, look, it's not you, it's me, but you're a wonderful person, and we can totally stay friends.
Yeah.
Which never happens and never works, and you shouldn't do anyway.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it. But it's like happy birthday. By the way, if we ever broke up, I'd stay friends with you. Like, what would you say that to somebody?
Even if the time comes now or later.
Yeah. If the time comes now is underlined, now or later. I texted him about it, and he responded hours later and asked to call me. During our call, he said that he was confused and felt guilty. Afterwards, half my friends started encouraging me to just completely break up with him because they think he's using me to just be in a relationship. If you can call what we have a relationship. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Texting once a week. Like, what? And the other half of my friends are telling me to give him a chance because they think he is intimidated by me. What does that mean? Intimidated by you? Like, she thinks she's like real hot? Is that what that is?
Maybe she's really pretty or something.
She's like, I'm real pretty and he's intimidated by me. It's like, all right, dude, slow your roll. You might be asking, what do you feel about him? Honestly, I was super into him until it took him forever to respond to my text. I know he's a pretty awkward guy who has like zero relationship experience, so I've always chalked it up to that. I don't want to date someone who isn't interested in me. Shocking. Wow, what a crazy idea. He insists that he's not forcing himself to text and talk to me, but I've told him that it sounds like he's forcing himself since he talks about being guilty a lot to me. So my question is, I don't know if I'm overthinking it or being cold or what. I mean, I'm not sure what you're overthinking because it sounds like there's not anything to overthink. You know what I mean? It's like you're dating a guy, you asked him out, he's like, let me tell you in a week. And then he had to dump all of his other girlfriends. And then he's like, okay, I'll date you. And then you've been dating for a while. Does it say how long? No, I think just they started dating.
In February earlier this year.
Okay. So, assuming you haven't broke up yet, you've been dating for like 8 months. And it's like they text each other once a week. and he sends her a thing on his birthday that's like basically a breakup ransom notice. And then and then she's like, am I overthinking this? Like, no, this isn't even a relationship. This is like your friends, sort of. Not even really like that.
Yeah, and like it doesn't make any mention of if they hang out at all. Like if they.
Yeah. Do you hang out? Do you kiss?
Yeah.
Are you doing the old devil's tango? What do you like? you just send memes back and forth?
Yeah, it just sounds to me like he just said yes so he could like say he has a girlfriend or something, but doesn't really want to put any effort in and doesn't really care about her.
It's like those middle school relationships, where it's like we hold hands in the hallway.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I guess. That's like it. Yeah, I mean it's weird to be like her friends are like, oh, you should break up, or the other friends like, oh, you should stay together. It's like
what is there to break up?
Yeah, there's nothing to break up. There's nothing to stay together about.
Yeah.
It's like you're just two people who exist and text each other once a week. I even know what you would call this. It's not even like a friendship. It's just like a person who exists.
I feel bad for her. But yeah, I think maybe she's confusing his quote unquote caution and being intimidated around her with just like him being disinterested.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible that he's very, very socially awkward and like it's hard for him to like text or whatever. Like he feels weird about it. But at the same time, like this girl said here, where she said near the end of the email, she said, "I don't want to date someone who is not interested in me." Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Nor should you want to.
Nor should you want to. I mean, it's one of those statements that when you say it out loud, it sounds so like no duh type of thing. But like a lot of people date people who don't actually like them.
Yeah.
Like people who aren't actually interested in them, and they just like put up with the other person, sort of. So it's like, I get what she's saying, and that's something you should hold on to for a long time. It's like, yeah, don't date someone who doesn't like you. And it's like, well, how do you know if they like you or not? If someone likes you, you'll know.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to ask.
They'll make it known to you.
Yeah, like, if you're dating someone and you're always wondering, like, especially in high school this happens, where it's like, does he like me? Does he not? I mean, he never responds to my texts. He's always hanging out with his friends. Like, does he like me? It's like, no. If someone likes you, you'll know. You won't have to ask the question. You'll know if they like you.
Yeah.
If a girl likes you, you'll know. If a guy likes you, trust me, you'll know.
Yep.
So I would say honestly, whatever this is, 18-year-old girl writing this thing, whatever this is, I would say just dump the guy or just stop, just ghost him. Well, don't ghost him, but like, you know what I'm saying? Just like let it die out, because there's nothing happening here. And you're wasting a lot of time that you could be spending with someone who actually likes you.
Yes.
Or who actually, I mean, maybe this guy does like you. Maybe he is awkward. Maybe he's whatever. But like, that's not your problem to deal with. If you're not getting what you want out of this relationship, then you should date someone else. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
All right. Let's go to another email. This one says, dating story and question. Okay, so I was talking to this guy after meeting him through mutual friends, and we flirted and hung out. I didn't know this was a date. He literally said, "Hey, want to hang out next Thursday?" And I said, sure. He seemed cool. After hanging out, he became more talkative, more interested in my life and such. A month goes by. He literally asked me, "So, do you want to do anything for a 1-month anniversary?" So I didn't even know we were dating. I didn't even know we left friendship level. I was really confused and asked him about it. Apparently, we started dating after our second hangout, which I definitely was not aware of. That's my story. But I do have a question for you. Do you think people should ask you out still, or is it okay to assume? So just to summarize this email here, so this girl meets this guy, they hang out a couple times, and then he's like, "Hey, so what do you want to do for the 1-month anniversary of us being a couple?" And then she's like, "What? We're a couple? When did that happen?" So I guess her question is like, should you like ask someone out and make it very clear that like, we are a couple, I want to be a couple, we are boyfriend, girlfriend, label, whatever? Or do you think it's okay to just assume and just let things happen naturally, man? What do you think, Kelsey? You're a girl, right?
I think so, yeah.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, I think the smart thing to do is probably just to ask the person out officially, just so you avoid any kind of issues like this. Just it's clear cut, like we're dating, we're exclusive, whatever. So when you and I started dating, you didn't really officially ask me out, and we kind of just like fell into dating, and we knew we were dating for a while, and then we like defined the terms of our relationship. But
Yeah, I think it was like the third date or third or fourth date, somewhere around there. Yeah, I was like, hey, so quick question, like, what are we exactly? Because for the same reason where it's like, yeah, like, I mean, I thought we were a couple and we were like dating or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's like, if you didn't and you thought we were just hanging out. It's like, if you had thought that we were just hanging out, just being like friends or some kind of middle ground between friends and dating, whatever, then it's like, you know, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be like your boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And so that's why on whatever date that was, third date, fourth date, whatever it is, I was like, hey, so what's happening? What are we doing? Like,
yeah.
We've been meeting up like every week now for almost a month, and what is this? And then you're like, I want us to be a couple. And I was like, me too. And then we high-fived.
Yep.
Right?
That's how it went.
That's how it went. And then nothing else happened the rest of the night.
Yep. We played video games.
You just played video games and sung hymns in church. But yeah, so I would say, so her question is like, should people still ask you out? Yes.
Yeah.
I think now more than ever, with how easy it is to like meet people and like fall into these types of relationships, I think now more than ever it's important to make things clear.
Yeah.
Right? Like, are we a couple? Yes, no. Like what like setting boundaries, what is cheating, what is not. I think now more than ever is so important to do those things and have those conversations, because like, I don't know, it's so easy to like meet people, talk to people. There's a lot of like gray area with like online stuff and whatever. So it's like, I think, yeah, having those conversations earlier is very important now more than ever. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Make your intentions known if you want to be with someone.
Now, it doesn't say how old she is, but I think like, especially when you're younger, like, I feel like with guys a lot, but also with girls too, where it's kind of like, you know, like, I'm young, like, I got to get out there, I got to play the field, I got to sow my oats, whatever that means. You know, whereas like, one nice thing about getting older, the only nice thing about getting older, because the rest of it sucks, but the nice thing about getting older is like, I know what I want, and it's like, you know, like I'm not being like, oh, I just, you know, I can't commit, like I can't settle down right now, I gotta whatever. It's like I met you, Kelsey, and I was like, that's what I want right there, that's what I want. And it's like, I know I've been around the block, you know, I'm in my 30s now. It's like, I know what I want, and that's what I want. Whereas like when you're young, you don't really know, you know, and you're kind of just like floating around like a plastic bag floating through the wind. You know what I'm saying, Katy Perry? But that's one nice thing about getting older is you just have less patience for all that kind of BS stuff.
Yeah, because it sounds like she says that they were flirting in the beginning of her email, so she's interested in him, I think.
Seems like it, yeah. She flirted, we hung out, and they've been hanging out regularly, so she doesn't hate the guy, apparently.
No.
And they're flirting, but I guess it doesn't say this in the email, right? But it's like, it doesn't say like they were kissing or they were making out or they were whatever. I don't know what couples do these days, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't say anything like that. I feel like that would have been more obvious if that was the case, but... Yeah,
maybe they weren't really being physical yet.
They're not like wrestling or anything.
Yeah.
Yep. Here she comes with the metal chair.
Playing contact sports.
Yep. You know, water polo as they call it. No one calls it that. Never mind. Is this thing live? But yeah, I feel like if they're like making out and stuff, maybe it was more obvious. But it seems like maybe they're just hanging out and talking and like being all flirty, but nothing definitive has happened yet. So that's why she's a little confused. But I think whoever wrote this girl, you should talk to this guy and be like, hey, are we a couple? Like, is that what's happening? Are we exclusive? What's going on? Because if he's already saying you guys got a 1-month anniversary, then like you have every right to be like, oh, okay, so what are the terms of this relationship exactly?
Right. Yeah. And do you even want to like be dating him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he seems cool, but then he has like a bunch of Sailor Moon figures or something like that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, you want to see my Yu-Gi-Oh cards? I got the arm thing.
There's nothing wrong with Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Okay.
Sir, I'm offended. Sir, think of the children. Okay, next email. Texas size issue. Hi, Alex. I have a giant penis. No, wrong email. Sorry. It says, My name is Jeff. My name's Jeff. That was a horrible impression. Just pretend that didn't happen. I'm thinking about life after college. There is none.
It's all downhill from there.
Actually, at 32, my life's the best it's ever been. So if you're in high school and college and you think like, oh, I'm gonna get so old soon, like life can only get better if you choose it to be so. That's my little sermon. This is covered in my TED Talk. Please subscribe. I, 22 male, and my girlfriend, 22 female, have talked a lot, and we want to settle down, get married, have kids. But we've come to a roadblock. She was offered a job that pays well and has good benefits, but it's far away from where I got a job. Both of us want to accept the jobs, but they're just too far away from each other to make it work. What do you think we should do? For some background, we live in Texas and are each willing to commute up to 1 hour for work. She wants to work in Dallas/Fort Worth, whereas I work in Houston. So the issue is, so you got this couple, they're getting out of college, they're all in love and stuff, and Twitter paid her, gonna get married, have kids and all that stuff, but she has a job in one city and he has a job in another city. And this is Texas. So I think we looked this up, right? And Dallas and Houston, it's like 3.5 hours apart.
I think so,
I believe it was, somewhere around there. 3.5 hours between these two cities. Now, they both are willing to commute up to 1 hour for work. Okay, so the issue is she has a good job. They're both getting out of college. She has a good job in one city. He has a good job in another, about 3.5 hours apart. But they both want to commute up to 1 hour for work. So even if they meet in the middle somewhere, they would still be an hour and a half apart.
This is like one of those math problems.
If one train leaves the station at 45 miles per hour and the other train doesn't move at all, do my parents still love me? Yeah, so, right. So, like, you know, I guess ideally they could live in the middle, but then they would both have to drive like almost 2 hours to work.
Right, which is too much
Which
to
is
drive
a lot.
every day.
It's like 4 hours total per day,
Yeah.
5 days a week. That would suck. I get it. But they want to live together and have kids and whatever. So, what should they do? Now, for context, Kelsey and I live about 3.5 hours apart.
We do, yes.
And we make it work pretty well,
Yeah.
I think. But, like, we also don't have to go to an office 5 days a week, you know what I mean?
Right.
That would change things dramatically.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know, I get to work from home, and then you work from home, and then we can just kind of hang out and do whatever. But for normal people who don't watch Disney Channel movies for a living, yeah. So, I mean, because I guess either one person would have to give up their job, which would suck, or they should maybe not live together right now.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. They should each get like apartments or houses or whatever. It says they're willing to commute up to an hour for work, so they should, like, in the middle, like where they meet in the middle, they should each go like 1 hour closer to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so he's an hour from his work, she's an hour from her work, so then that would only make the commute to see each other like 90 minutes.
Something like that, yeah. Hour and a half, give or take.
And then that's like an okay amount to like drive to see each other. That's not too bad at all.
No, it's not bad at all, yeah.
Yeah, they should do that.
Yeah, it's like that seems like the only thing to do because, again, like they want to settle down and live together, have kids, but, you know, coming out of college and having both of you have like a good job,
it's very rare.
like, yeah, that's something you don't just toss away.
Yeah.
Like, especially nowadays, especially with, you know, whatever's going on here, it's like, yeah, that's something that's like you love each other, and if you're willing to do that and make it work, then you totally can. I guess one thing that you could do is like get apartments, like Kelsey said, you get apartments that are 1 hour towards each other, kind of in the middle, and then you commute or you drive like an hour and a half to see each other, and you do that for like some amount of time, 6 months, a year, whatever, and then one of you can maybe transfer or look for a new job like closer to the other person's city at some point in the future. You know, again, it might be a year or two, might be. I know you all want to live together, whatever, but it seems like that's not feasible at the moment. So that's something you could do. That seems, especially because you're young enough. Yeah, you could make, like, you're 22 now. You could think about, you could propose to each other, whatever happens, and then be like, okay, so we're gonna get married, you know, like at 24, for example. So the next 2 years, you save money, you plan, you buy stuff together, you do things, you plan out where you're going to live and how it's going to work. And then one of you can move to the other person's city or close enough that you both can live together. And then you can make it work later. But it seems like right now it's not feasible because I don't think you should give up a good job opportunity when you've come just out of school.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So she was offered a job that pays well and has good benefits, but it's far away from where I got a job offer. So she got a good job offer. He got a job offer, but it may not be as good as hers.
She got a good job offer. He just got like,
Yeah. So like maybe eventually he could look for another job in her city, in Dallas.
Yeah, well, it says here he has a job in human resources in Houston. So if you work in HR, you can work for any company, literally any company. Every sizable company has an HR department. So he could very easily, I feel like, work for a different company.
Yeah.
And then move. They both could live in Dallas or wherever it is they choose to live. That's something I think would be the best bet to do. I know it's not ideal for you because you want to live together now, but it's just not feasible at the moment. So you got to tough it out for another year or so, and then maybe you can transfer or get a new job or something.
You guys can do it. We're rooting for you kids.
I believe in you, Jeff. Next one. Need a second opinion. Should I come clean? Uh-oh. You killed somebody? All right. This girl wrote like The Hobbit here. She wrote a Lord of the Rings book. My name is Brooke. It's okay to use my name. I'm a 21-year-old female, and I'm currently dating a 25-year-old male. We met in college and have been dating for just over a year. She wants an unbiased opinion. Opinion. How do you talk?
Opinion.
How to talk, Kelsey. Before I started dating my boyfriend, I was never in a serious relationship. The only other relationship I had was in high school, grade 12, which was not really a relationship. Yeah, most high school relationships are not really relationships. It was more like an elementary relationship than a high school one. What? We eventually broke up, and after that, went on a few dates, but never progressed. She was considered an older virgin, but mostly because I never identified with the image. I am sarcastic and don't like to show vulnerability to anyone.
She's a tough girl. She wears combat boots.
She's not like other girls. Cut to when my boyfriend and I met in college. We go on a first date a few weeks after first semester started. And I think that maybe we're only going to date for a couple weeks, a month max. Okay, well, great to just start right out there with this whole
time limit on it.
This like negative, like, well, this is going to fail anyway, so I don't know. When he asks me how many people I've had sex with, I say 4, thinking it won't matter if I lie to the guy or not. Eventually, I have sex with my boyfriend, and it goes well. I didn't feel uncomfortable or inexperienced. It goes the way I expected sex in general would go. It's very analytical here. It was asexual. Now we've been dating for a year, and I have not come clean about my lie. We talk about having kids together. We even have this game of finding baby names we both like. It says, needless to say, we're in a very committed relationship, which I didn't think would happen to me at the age of 21. 21's a perfectly fine time to get in a committed relationship. I don't see us breaking up anytime soon. Now I ask you, was it wrong for me to lie to him? Yes. Should I tell him the truth? Yes. Or should I just keep on going with the lie that's not hurting anybody? They say you should have no secrets in healthy relationships, so I would love to hear your opinion. You just answered your own question, Brooke. Should you have no secrets in a healthy relationship? Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, telling someone how... you said yourself, this is a very innocuous lie that's not hurting anyone. So all the more reason why you should come clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if it's like something that you're lying about... Well, here's my rule of thumb, and this is 100% how I think. Is like if you're lying, if you have to lie to someone to stay with them, right? Then either A, you should not be with that person, or B, you should stop doing the thing you're lying about. Okay. And the lie that you told him was that you said you slept with 4 people, but actually he was your first, I believe. Mm-hmm. In which case you should tell him, just be like, you've been dating for a year, and be like, hey, so funny story, how, when you asked me how I feel like something, I said 4. That's because I didn't want you to think I was going to be some like clingy, like virgin loser or whatever. But actually, you were my first. I can't imagine he would get overly upset about that kind of lie, just because it's very Like, if it was the reverse, I can see how he'd be a little irked by that. You'd be like, oh, you're my first time having sex, but actually you've had sex with like 10 other guys. Like, that's a lie that's like, yeah, like you need to dig yourself out of that one. But the fact that it's like you actually are a virgin, or were a virgin, I should say, and then you told him that you weren't just because you didn't want him to freak out about it or whatever. I don't know. I feel like he would understand. I feel like most people, especially guys, would understand that. Because like you said, you're like an older virgin. You maybe were teased about it or whatever. So, yeah, you should. I mean, to answer your questions here, was it wrong for me to lie? Yes, of course. Lying is wrong. Should I tell him the truth? Yes, you should. Should I just keep on going with the lie? No, don't do that. They say you should have no secrets in a healthy relationship. Yeah, well, the last thing you just said here, they say you should have no secrets in a healthy relationship. That is a good philosophy that far too few people live by. Again, like I said, just repeating myself here, but it's like, if you have to lie to the person you're dating about something and you have to like keep up this lie, you have to keep up this, I almost just knocked the phone out of Kelsey's hands. If you have to keep up this lie, then A, you should not date that person. You should date someone else who lets you do the thing that you're lying about. Or B, you should stop doing that thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I don't know, like, doing something that the other person doesn't want you to do, or that you know would like, I mean, the lie that you told here, Brooke, is very innocuous, and I think you should just tell him. I cannot imagine he would be like upset to the point of breaking up with you over this.
Yeah,
this is
I don't think so either.
Very tiny lie. Like I said, if it was the reverse, I can understand why he might be more upset. But the fact that it's the way it is, it's like, I think he'd be like, oh, I get it. Like, that's cool. But yeah, like if you're think about like lying or like hiding things, whatever, in a relationship, it's kind of like cheating in a way. Because the whole thing about cheating is like, you know, you have this boundary. It's like, you know, do not cross this line. Don't do these things with other people. And then if you cross whatever that boundary is, then you are cheating, right? And lying is kind of the same thing, where it's like, I'm doing this thing. There's something in my life that's happening, or I'm doing something. Whatever. And it's like, if the other person knows I'm doing this, they're probably going to get upset and or break up with me. Then it's like, so why are you doing that thing? You know what I mean? Like, why do you need to be doing this thing? Well, whatever it is, cut it. Like, if you want to be with that person completely. If not, then date someone else who is cool with you doing the thing that you're not lying about doing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. What do you think, Kelsey?
I agree with everything that you said. She should just tell him, like you said, it's a pretty innocuous lie. They've been together for a long time. It sounds like they have a good relationship. I don't think that he may be upset at first just because she lied at all.
Right. Yeah. Lying is never good. I don't care who or when or where. Like, just don't do it.
But I think he'll get over it and they'll be fine. You shouldn't keep going with it, because that's just continuing to be dishonest, and that's not cool.
Yeah, it's one thing to lie, and then it's another thing to perpetuate a lie, because then you're just lying every day.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, if you tell a lie about something and then you come clean, it's like, okay, that's that. But if you tell a lie and then you sort of keep pretending that this is the truth forever and ever and ever, then you're just keeping lying to them.
Yep.
Which is just, you know, it's like compound interest in a bank account, but it's just with like how upset they're going to be. Because the things with lies is like, eventually it's going to come out. Like you'll say something that'll slip up, or he'll find out something, or one of your friends will say something about something and he'll be like, wait a minute, didn't you tell me? Blah? It's going to come out.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you just tell him now and get ahead of it, then you're probably going to be fine. I assume you'll be quite fine. But then if you just keep on going until he finds out of his own, you know, thing by accident or whatever, then he'll be like, wait, you've been lying to me this whole time? Like, you know what I mean? Then he has a right to really be upset. If you tell him now, I feel like he doesn't have a right to be too upset.
Yep, you should just tell him. It'll be fine.
Next email. Breaking up with my boyfriend during quarantine? Is it okay to break up with someone during quarantine? Well, in my quarantine experience over the many years, my time in the Spanish flu, let me tell you my thoughts. My boyfriend 23M and I 23F have been together for a year and a few months. We currently haven't seen each other in half a year due to quarantine because we live in different parts of the country. I wanted to know if it was socially acceptable for me. I'm sorry. I'm sure this is a big issue for you, but this is just kind of funny. Is it socially acceptable for me to break up with him during quarantine, where it'll most likely be done over call or text? I've been wanting to end things with him for a while now due to a vast difference in lifestyle, but I haven't done so yet because it seems weird to do it not in person. But I think we won't be able to see each other till next year, and it would also be weird to prolong a relationship that to me is already half over. So should I just break up with him remotely? What do you think, Kelsey? What are your thoughts on quarantine etiquette?
I think everyone's still figuring it out.
I mean, hopefully we don't have to get too used to it.
Yeah. I think it's respectable that she wants to do it in person. But like she said, she's probably not going to be able to do that for a long time. And she's already like checked out of this relationship, it seems like. So in this unique set of circumstances, I think that it is okay to break up with someone over the phone, or maybe don't do it over text. I mean, you can, but maybe at least like give him a phone call, like extend him that courtesy. But I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is respectable of her that she like wants to do it in person. She feels like that's, the fair thing to do, which I agree with. Like, ideally, it should all be done in person because at least you owe them that. But given the situation that the world is in at the moment, if you call him on the phone and then explain to him what you just wrote here about, like, I would want to do this in person, but we can't see each other till quarantine's over, and who the heck knows when that's going to end. But I have to tell you these things anyway because it's not fair to you for me to string you along this way, make you think things are one way when they're actually not. And then you break up over call that way. Yeah, I think you're right. Ideally, doing it in person would be the best way, but it's just not feasible. And it's also not fair for him to like spend all of quarantine thinking you're a couple when you're not.
Right.
So, yes, you should absolutely break up with him, and you should do it, over phone or over like FaceTime or something, as close to in person as you can get. Because it's like, I mean, like, I don't know, maybe like you'll break up during quarantine, he'll be sad for a bit, and then maybe he'll DM his favorite YouTuber, and then something will happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something great might happen out of it. You just slide into your favorite YouTuber's DM. But yeah, I think, yes, it's like there is no etiquette for quarantine. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is upside down and backwards right now. So it's like, I don't know. If you really want, you wanted to break up with him before quarantine even started, it sounds like. So you should do it, yeah, because that gives him time to kind of be alone and get over his feelings and move on and whatever, instead of, because if you live in different parts of the country, so what would you expect would happen? That one of you would fly all the way over to see the other one, spend hundreds of dollars, sit on the airplane for 4 hours, and then be like, hey, guess what? I don't like you anymore. Bye. And then they just got to fly back.
Right. Yeah, that would be
right.
Sucky.
So he's like, I spent $300 just to get dumped. So, I mean, if you think about it that way, it's actually much nicer of you to do it over phone call than in person.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you're in America or what country you're in, but like, to see each other in different parts of the country means one of you has to drive or fly or something, several hours or whatever to get there. So if you do it over phone, then you're saving them a lot of wasted time.
Yeah.
Last email. Advice needed. Non-toxic relationship is boring? Well, it sounds like you got some issues to work through. Personal issues. It says here, I've been with my boyfriend for a few years now, and our relationship is pretty healthy. I don't see him very often with him working and me being at university, but it's always nice when we do spend time together. So, all my past relationships have been extremely toxic. I've been cheated on many times, gaslit, fighting all the time, textbook bad relationships. However, I always found that after making up after a fight, there were intense feelings of love and intimacy that I just don't have with my boyfriend now. I always felt closer to my partner, like it made us stronger or something. I know how stupid that sounds, but at the time it felt very real. I want to stress, I do not want to break up with my boyfriend. He's amazing, literally what I've always wanted. However, I'm starting to struggle with these feelings of boredom. that I found comes from such a low level of drama and toxicity. You have personal issues you need to work through. I found myself getting overly irritated at him for minor things because I'm so used to being angry and upset at the person I'm with. Okay, you need to see a therapist. And I worry that I'm going to damage my relationship if I don't find a way to be satisfied with a normal relationship. Any advice would be appreciated. Please keep this anon. Well, I didn't say her name anyway, so. Okay. Now,
Wow.
This is a lot to work through, actually. I feel like this is more common than people care to admit.
Yeah.
Like, people get so... Because, I mean, we've had these conversations. We've talked about this stuff before, where it's like, most people are in bad relationships, I feel like,
Right.
generally. I'm not saying everybody is, but I'm saying it's like... I mean, just by looking at how many people post on, like, the subreddits about relationship stuff, how many people write into, like, our podcast, whatever. It's like a lot of people are having issues in relationships. A lot of people are in bad relationships.
Yes.
Or unsatisfactory relationships, I should say.
Right.
Here's a person who is in a relationship that is textbook healthy and happy, right? They don't fight. They get along well. Everything's swell. Everything's great. And then now she's saying, like, that she's just kind of bored with it because in her past relationships where she was cheated on, it was toxic stuff, lying, fighting, whatever. And then whenever they would have a big fight, then they would have, makeup sex. They would have the makeup feelings. And it's like, oh, we overcame this thing together and now we're so much better. Now, every couple has disagreements and little tiffs now and then, even us, even Kelsey and me, But it sounds like this girl has had like some big fights and like big things that were happening. Mm-hmm. And then, but afterwards they would just be so much stronger and the love would be so intense and the makeup stuff was so great. And now her issue is like, she doesn't want to break up with her boyfriend. He's really great, but she's like, there's no drama. There's no toxicity. There's nothing like, there's no like major issue. And so she finds herself getting kind of bored and like almost resenting him in a way for not being toxic. Mm-hmm. Now, Kelsey, you're a girl and you've dated a couple guys, so I assume you've been in some rather toxic, not great relationships.
Yes.
Yes. And now you've told me that you're in a very happy relationship with me.
I am, yes.
Like I said, it's not that we never like have any disagreements or whatever, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like things could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
We could be like throwing chairs across the room and stuff. So what are your thoughts on this? As someone who has been through some pretty toxic, pretty bad relationships when you were younger, how do you see her way of thinking? Like, do you kind of understand it in a way, or do you think it's just bizarre, or what do you think?
Well, I think it's good that she's so, like, candid and, like, understands her feelings so well. Like, that's good. But, yeah, I understand what she means. I used to feel like this kind of when I was younger. Like late teens, early 20s. Like if I was ever in a relationship that was like pretty good, then like I would want to do something to like start an argument or something because it felt boring to me. So yeah, I definitely get what she is saying. She doesn't disclose her age in this, but like I grew out of that eventually. And it kind of just seems like kind of a juvenile thing to me. Mm-hmm. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, it doesn't say her age, but yeah, it seems like a young person thing.
Yeah. Where
it's like you kind of crave drama. Like, you look at like all the teen rom-coms, teen dramas that I make videos about. It's like, it's all about like, you need to have some kind of big fight, big drama thing, like, the movie After, right? Where it's like, oh, like he takes a girl upstairs and then she freaks out and then they make up afterwards and it's so romantic. And like, that's like a thing that young people crave. It's like drama.
Right.
And they crave that kind of negativity that they try to turn into like a positive feeling later on type of thing.
Right.
Whereas, yeah, I think every young person kind of goes through that where they want this like raw, dramatic, passionate relationship. It's not perfect, but it's ours,
Yeah.
And then eventually, yeah, you kind of hit like maybe mid-20s or so, and you're just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is not fun at all.
This is exhausting. Yeah.
Now you're in a boring relationship with me. Yeah.
Yay, and I love it.
Okay.
Um,
I'm boring? You call me boring?
Boring as in like no giant blowout fights.
Mhm.
Then, yeah, but that's good. I'm glad for that. Like Alex was saying when he was reading this that she should maybe get therapy, but I think maybe that is actually like a good idea.
Mhm.
Maybe you should actually get therapy. Just to have someone to talk to who's like removed from this situation, who you can just tell everything to and get some advice from. Because it sounds like you don't want to mess this relationship up.
Yeah, she says, I do not want to break up with my boyfriend. He is amazing. Literally what I've always wanted. Which I understand that feeling because, Kelsey, you're also everything I've always wanted. However, I'm starting to struggle with feelings of boredom. Yeah, I mean, I guess when I was younger, I probably had feelings like this. I don't remember very well because I didn't really date much when I was younger. Because no one liked me.
Oh.
No one cared about me. But yeah, it's like, I don't understand those feelings. I feel like, I don't know, I want to say like girls are kind of more drama seekers some of the time, although guys are also very dramatic too. I think it's just a young person thing probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never got that, but especially like now at my age, now at 32. Well, you know, Kelsey and I, we've had this conversation a lot where it's like, you know, all I really want is like a simple, healthy, happy, low stress, low drama relationship.
Yeah, we both had enough drama
Yeah.
in relationships.
Been through enough. I don't need any more of that.
Yeah.
So I think if you really, really like this guy and everything else is like perfect to the point where it's boring, I think, yeah, you should see a therapist, talk to someone, or start a journal, write your feelings down, something like that, so you can kind of see how preposterous it is. And then hopefully as you get older, you'll not that you take him for granted, but like you'll maybe start to appreciate what you have versus what you don't have. Because she's saying, you know, she doesn't have drama, she doesn't have toxicity, and she wants like the makeup sex and whatever. But it's like, hopefully as you get older, I don't know how old you are, but hopefully as you get older, you'll start to appreciate the lack of drama, the lack of toxicity. Because, I mean, if you want a toxic relationship, like, it's pretty easy to get into one.
Yeah. Most of them will be some degree of toxic, probably.
You know? So it's pretty easy to fall into those. But the fact that you have a great guy who's not that at whatever age you are, I think a lot of girls would be very jealous of your situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Most people, well, a lot of people crave like a quote-unquote boring relationship, like stability and honesty and, yeah, not a lot of fighting. Like, that's, like, the ultimate goal for most people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think eventually you will come to want that as well. Or, yeah, appreciate what you have, like Alex was saying.
You know, it was the interesting thing, because it says, all my past relationships have been extremely toxic. Cheated on many times, gaslighting, fighting, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not even that she's like a young teenager who wants, like, I want a relationship just like the movie After or whatever. You know, I want like a Twilight relationship. It's not even that. It's like she's been through horrible relationships and she still wants more.
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying, whatever your name is, you should probably, see a therapist and understand why you are craving negative feelings.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're wanting to be miserable. You're wanting to be upset. And I think you need to figure out why. Is it just because of the intimate makeup sex afterwards? Or is there like some underlying issue that you're not thinking about, but you're kind of mentally sabotaging your relationship a little bit? Because in your head, you're thinking like, because it says here, she finds herself being irritated at small things and she starts to kind of pick fights with him. And she's worried that she's going to damage her relationship if she doesn't find a way to be satisfied. So so you're kind of unconsciously sabotaging your relationship because you crave negative feelings.
Right.
That's an issue you should probably work through.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Yeah, and hopefully you can get past that because your boyfriend sounds like a nice guy. I want things to work out for you guys.
Okay, I think that about does it, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you all for writing in. I really appreciate it. If you have your own questions or stories to tell, you can write in at devilstangopodcast@gmail.com. The information is down in the description of the thing. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you next time. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.